registered dietitian or CNS who has just hired somebody to your team, but has no idea how to train them or where to start because there are so many things that need to get done? If that sounds like you, this is going to be an amazing video with an amazing hack, which is going to make your life so much easier. I'm Amy Plano. I am the reimbursement dietitian, and I teach dietitians and CNSs how to scale their insurance-based practices, which means one of the things I help them with is hiring. And today I wanted to talk you through my 3-step framework for training anybody to do anything. And first things first, there are so many things you guys need to do. When I think about applying the things I'm going to say today, my words of wisdom are to start with the thing in your practice that brings you the most amount of pain. There are lots of different levels of pain as a founder, as an operator, as a insurance-based practice owner. But for me, some of the pains in the beginning of my career were scheduling, right? So scheduling, returning people's phone calls, emails, things like billing, things like social media. So those are all things. And I would say for me personally, I know it sounds funny, I actually really love billing for the most part, but I hate being on the phone. And I hate scheduling patients via phone. I hate returning phone calls. So for me, that would be the piece of pain, the most pain, and the things I enjoy the least, phone calls. But for you, it may be something entirely different. Any administrative task that you do not love doing, you can generally outsource. And I want to be very clear because at the beginning of my practice, I felt like I could outsource nothing because I was the only one who could do it. And I heard this saying like 80% done by somebody else is better than 100% done by you if you hate doing the task. So I had a hard time letting go of control, especially with patient care and management, because my patients were so important to me. So without further ado, let's get to it. So now I want to talk you through my 3-step framework for training anybody in your insurance-based practice on anything. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate, then we're going to document, then we're going to have the person duplicate. Okay, so 3 Ds, triple Ds. You may have referred to this too as like the camcorder process, but what you are essentially doing, and you're going to do this for every single task in your practice, is you are creating basically SOPs, so standard operating procedures for how you want things done in your practice. And because you're already doing those things, and because when you're training somebody new, you're probably going to be showing them, the only main difference that we're going to do is to make sure that we actually record these as we're doing them. So essentially, we have a playbook. So I'm just trying to think of an example. You guys don't love billing. I love billing, but I'm going to use that as an example for you guys because I know that's not your favorite thing. What I would suggest doing in the world of billing, if you're training somebody to do the billing, create a playbook for each of the insurance companies that you bill. And then as you are training your assistant, as you are training the in-house biller, you are going to demonstrate exactly how you would say submit a claim to United Healthcare. And I'm using United Healthcare because it is a heavily nuanced insurance that dietitians and CNSs bill, right? So I personally like to start with the most complicated thing when I'm training somebody. I know it sounds messed up. And then I move them through, say, all the way down to Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is pretty easy to bill because then everything gets easier after that. So you would record yourself in a, say, Loom or in Zoom, like I am recording this. And you would be demonstrating, and the assistant would be with you, next to you, or on the call. And you're going to show exactly how you do it. And then you're going to be talking on the video through why you are doing the things you are doing, right? We want to teach, not just tell, right? And so it's important that we put in the reps with our new hires and we're recording it. So we're essentially, if that hire doesn't work out, we have some good recordings exactly of how to do this. And in my experience, a lot of times the new hire wants to go back and review the video. So number one, we are demonstrating and we are recording. The second D, document, right? So a lot of times I will have the new hire documenting the processes as we go. It is fairly loose, right? It's kind of more or less like an outline. But that way I can make sure when I read back the checklist that they understood what I was demonstrating, right? So I should be able to look at the checklist for UHC and see right away if somewhere in there was an ICD-10 code for Z71.3, we probably missed something, right? Because we wouldn't bill UHC with a Z71.3. So essentially, as we are demonstrating how to do it, and as we are recording it, right, we're going to have the person that's training document the process, and obviously we are going to check it over. I love systems and I love processes and I love checklists because checklists identify exactly the order in which things need to do. Before we go on to the next step, I want to introduce you to one of my favorite phrases in hiring which is DOD, definition of done, right? And so a lot of times we make assumptions, even with a checklist, right? In terms of what a task looks like when it is complete. And so we want to have an objective marker associated with when a task is done. So that person knows in 100% certainty that they have done it right. So like obviously some type of metric, some type of objective marker, a feeling, and then they have to understand why it is the way that it needs to be, right? What is the function of submitting an insurance claim, right? Because technically an insurance claim is not done, right? Until we get paid, follow up on it and reconcile it, right? So we want to make sure that our definition of done is crystal clear. So then the person that we're hiring knows exactly what to do and whether or not they are done. They should never come to you with something and say, does this look good? Because that is a waste of time for both you and them. They should be able to look at your definition of done and your checklist that you created with them and know right away whether or not this shit is done, right? So step number one, demonstrate. And while we're demonstrating, we are recording because we were making a playbook. Number two, we are documenting. In number three, the third D of the triple Ds, then we are going to have our assistant, our new hire, duplicate the process in front of us, right? So it went from us as the teacher to the new hire as the teacher, right? And what I like to do is I like to get through the whole process of the task of duplicating. I don't like to interrupt them, even if they have done something wrong. I like them to think through the whole thing, get to the end, and then I provide rapid feedback, right? So once they have duplicated in front of me, I let them get through the whole task without interrupting them. And then I give them rapid feedback right away. And we may do the task again, probably a dozen more times together. One of the biggest mistakes I have made was getting lazy with the duplication process. And so I might ask the new hire, hey, you feel pretty good about this? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. So I give it to them because I'm lazy and I don't want to watch them duplicate it because it takes up my time and I have other shit I need to be doing. But the reality is that you want them to put in the reps in front of you and practice, right? Because essentially now they are kind of adding into like their 2 cents in terms of how to do it. So we're basically McDonaldizing your practice because we are creating playbooks for every single task in your practice with a definition of done. So there is predictability, there is efficiency, and you are unlocking scale, and which allows you to build your empire. Without systems in place like this, you will have a hard time scaling, especially from a quality management standpoint. It will be very hard to scale and do it correctly if we do not have playbooks that you, as the owner operator, have contributed significantly to. Once again, your ability to scale will be directly correlated with your ability to demonstrate, document, and then have them duplicate, right? And once again, rapid feedback after that, right? It's if we do not correct things when they first start happening, as we know, bad habits form. So this is something that I use with every single new hire. This is something that will get easier over time. And then what will happen is you will have like a Google Drive or wherever you store these things full of playbooks for every single aspect of your practice. And essentially you have created your SOPs without actually sitting down and doing them, right? The new hire is documenting everything and step by step. And then you guys are coming up with a definition of done. So hopefully that helps. These are concepts that I teach in my group coaching program, which is a 6-month group coaching program for dietitians looking to learn how to build insurance-based empires. If this sounds like something you would be interested in learning more about, because we don't just go over reimbursement, we talk about how to scale your practice, which is most important. Go to the link below this video and go learn all about my coaching program. Like I said, it's a 6-month program. I work with hundreds of dietitians each year, and I help them build multi-6-figure practices. So thanks so much for listening. I'm Amy Plano, the reimbursement dietitian, and I help dietitians get credentialed, build a shit out of insurance, and scale their insurance-based practices.